So Monday morning, my week started out with a very early morning, which had to be remedied with some coffee. I started to go off coffee for a bit, and then I realised one day that after having a double shot, that was the reason why I wasn't enjoying it anymore. I was just having weak coffees and I needed some stronger ones. So I feel like I'm gonna have to convert to double coffees, which is a little bit more expensive, but the taste is just so much better. This was the stage we were at with our breakfast bar at the time. My partner Sam has done an incredible job at creating this frame from scratch, and I was just so excited to get it done. I personally do like to wear makeup if I know I'm going to be working in the office for the day, so I like to wake up a little bit earlier to give myself time to have a relaxing, chilled morning rather than rushing to do it. I normally watch something on TV or something on YouTube just to get me started for the day, wake me up a little bit, but also give me that treat because I am awake quite early and it's nice to have something on in the background as a comfort, I guess. It was a bit of a grey day walking into the office on Monday, but I was glad that it was actually quite warm because we're in May now and we need a bit of warm weather. I also like the fact that I have the opportunity to work in an office. I personally don't think I could work from home 5 days a week because it would just get too repetitive. At work, I do like to go on a lunchtime walk, and I'm really grateful that on campus there are so many areas that are completely separate to the work buildings that are just surrounded by nature. So this week in particular, I was trying out a new workout routine, and that consisted of a few videos that Grow Joe had released. Honestly, my muscles this week were super sore because I was using them in such a different way than I normally do. Like, I don't know if you ever find that, but when you stick to a certain routine and you're doing the same exercises, the same weights, your muscles don't really feel it as much. But if you try something completely different, in the moment it doesn't feel that bad, but the next day, it's like your muscles saying, thank you, like you've trained us in a different way. So that's what I was experiencing. And there was a couple of days, like walking up and down the stairs was a mission, and getting up and down from a seat, painful. I also love the fact that when I do this particular stretch called the Cobra, I get to see the view outside our garden, and I couldn't have asked for a better view. It's just trees, nature. And to finish off the grey, dreary Monday, Sam cooked me a roast dinner. On Tuesday, I was working from home, but I woke up a little bit early with Sam so that I could get a bit of cleaning done and then have some time to really wake up and chill, just like I was saying on Monday. I then washed my face with just simply cold water, which always wakes me up and just makes me feel refreshed. I then did my skincare routine, and this is very personal obviously to different people, but I simply just use in the mornings a bit of vitamin E toner from the Body Shop, followed by the face cream. It's just the day cream at the moment that I'm using because the weather's not that cold anymore. I don't need that intense cream on my skin, and it's just rich as it is, so. I then started work for the day, and I do love that I have my own little area to work from home, and I'm not distracted by my colleagues 3 days a week. Although I am grateful when I'm in the office because we can just ask each other questions all the time. For breakfast, I got to use these interesting sausages, which were actually made from chicken instead of pork, but we got them in the reduced section, which I actually live in. So I cooked these up in a pan for a few minutes on each side, then popped a fried egg with it and topped it off with some hot sauce, and it genuinely was the most interesting breakfast I've had in a while. But the flavour was insane, and They were still a little bit salty like sausages are, but it was an entirely different experience. So yeah, I think I would definitely try them again, but only if they were in the juice section. After work, I went for a run, which is quite a normal thing for me to go after work. I'm not really a morning workout person, especially when it comes to running, because I don't have that motivation to leave the house for half an hour, especially if I haven't had any food. I love this time of day because it gives me the opportunity to use up excess energy that I haven't used within the day, and it provides that buffer I need from my work hours and then my personal like relaxing hours, instead of just literally, especially when you're working from home, shutting your laptop down and then having a shower and relaxing. It's a very swift process, and I do like to break it up with a little workout in between. On this day, we finally received our breakfast bar top, and when I tell you we've been waiting for a while for this, we expected to receive it a few days after we ordered it, but it turned out to be like a couple of weeks. So yeah, we had been looking at the bar frame for quite a while. I was actually so happy with this that I had to get a shot of our dinner on top of it, even though we haven't actually nailed it in yet. We had peanut noodles with veg from a recipe on Pinterest, which I use all the time. It's just fresh and summery, and it's got a zing to it. Yeah, I'll link it below. Wednesday morning, I woke up knowing that it was going to be a beautiful day, so I just got a wash on. And I also had to show this shot of me having an empty basket, because we all know how rare it is to get down to the bottom of a basket. Whilst the wash was on, I put some clothes away from the day before. The process of doing a load of washing gives me the chance for my brain to think through things and to gain new ideas. In contrast, if I want to give my mind a rest, I try this technique called mundane task focusing, which is where you're doing a mundane task and you're only thinking of that task. So it gives your brain a little bit of a rest from overthinking other things in your life or things that are stressing you out. And every time you find yourself drifting away to the stressor in your life, you quickly tell yourself to snap back and just think about the task you're doing. So whether that's washing up, whether that's doing a load of washing or cleaning the bathroom, just something that doesn't require any mental capacity, that you're just doing as a physical task. It always helps when the weather is nice, just like it was this day, because it also encourages you to get outside. For breakfast, I had some plain old granola. The one I bought recently was a raisin and almond one. Speaking of what's good for you, I do like to take a supplement with my food when I remember. So that can be a vitamin D3 supplement or a standard multivitamin. And if you don't already know this, the best time to take a vitamin is right in the middle of your meal, because when you start your meal, you're starting that digestive process already. So when you take the pill, or the vitamin, sorry, it's more easily digestible and it then releases more into your body. And then making sure as well that you are eating after that vitamin, so you're not having it at the end where that is the last thing you take and then the digestive system finishes, because again it won't digest it as well. There we go. At lunch, I painted the ceiling because we recently got it plastered and I went over it with a watered down paint a few weeks ago, so I thought it was about time that I got it done. After work I did a strength workout and then we just played around with the bar for a bit, just trying to get it ready for when the bolts arrive and we actually bolt it in for good. This evening was probably the best evening because as it was such a beautiful day, we decided to sit outside and play a bit of chess with some snacks and drinks, and it was just a gorgeous evening and one that I will remember for a while. Thursday was my second and final day in the office, so I got up and made coffee straight away. I do try and wait about an hour after I wake up until I have my first sip of coffee because it is good for your sleep-wake cycle to do that. After I did my makeup, I went out into the garden just to see how our sprouts are doing because that seems to be the only planter that is fully coming up at the moment. And obviously while I'm filming this they are even higher, but out of the 8 planters that we have on our wall, the sprouts were the only one at this point that were coming out at all. Since then I'm happy to report that there are more plants coming out, so we have actually done it right. As I was the first one in the office this day, I thought I'd show you what it looks like. Then at lunchtime there was a petting zoo on campus and honestly this was the best part of the day, hands down. When I got home I did a body weight workout with the back doors open because again it was such a lovely day. I do like working out with my body weight only sometimes because it just feels a little bit more natural. You feel a little bit more in tune with your body whilst you're doing the workout. But then again I do love using weights as well because I do like to have that intensity. So once Sam got home we did a bit more work on the breakfast bar, which consisted of sticking pads underneath to level it with the kitchen side. This took a bit of time as we had to completely take off the top and get underneath the frame to put the pads down. Then we popped the top back on and made sure it was flush with the wall. Sam then drilled some screws into the breakfast bar countertop and the kitchen side to make the 2 countertops flush. Then for dinner we had a pasta bake made from chopped tomatoes, a bit of fresh chilli and Italian herbs. Friday morning I woke up and realised again that it was going to be a lovely summery day, so I ended up putting on the most summery skirt that I own. I love this skirt because it's so thin and breezy and the floral pattern is to die for. I actually bought this skirt from a charity shop and I just love it, and I think it must have been about £5 or something. Then I came downstairs and started work as normal. If it's a nice day outside, I tend to start inside at my desk and then I'll move outside to the garden table or just sitting on a bench. For breakfast, I had one of my favourites, if not my favourite breakfast, which is a banana crepe. I first tried this recipe at a pancake place in London, and ever since I had that, I don't think I've made it a different way. I mean, I'll make American pancakes with bananas on top, but if I do a crepe, it is normally with the bananas in and then chocolate chips on top. Like, you just cannot beat it. I think we're probably talking about 5 years of having this now. Not every day, as I said, but today, for example, I've had the same thing. So probably once a week of having that, and it never gets old. At lunchtime, I sat outside on the bench and had some pasta from the night before. I like getting outside as much as I can if the weather turns a little bit warmer, because you don't know when it's going to turn grey again, and just feeling that warmth of the sun on your skin, you just cannot beat it. In the afternoon I planted some basil in some garden pots, we bought a whole basil plant and decided to separate all of the plants and just plant them separately, just so we can have more basil and not have to buy it every time. These ones in particular had been sat in the fridge for a while, and I replanted them hoping that they would flourish. I don't think it's worked as of yet, but I will check them again. I think it was because they were in sunlight and it was a little bit too much for them. After work, I went for a 6-kilometer run, which absolutely killed me, but I loved it, and the pace I did, I was just so proud of. I love going for a run and not knowing if I'm going to do well in it, but just persevering and distracting myself with a podcast or music, it shows you how much your body can actually do and how much it is your mindset that gives up much more easier than your body. Then after a very long deserved shower, we went to the park, which is less than a 5-minute walk away, and just sat on a blanket and had a couple of drinks. And it's days like this that I'm so happy to have something like that so close to our house. So overall, this week was incredibly lovely, and the weather was just, I couldn't have asked for anything better. I'm hoping this video motivates you to do the same thing. Maybe look at your life, not necessarily record it, but maybe just take some mental images of your week. And even though you might be going through a really tough time, or you might be having a really shitty day, like, just remembering that there are things to be grateful for in life, and trying to not compare yourself to other people in their lives, because it's only going to make you feel awful about yourself. And also, you've got so much to be grateful for in your own life. There are always going to be reasons why you want to get up in the morning and why you are grateful for the life you have. Even if you don't have as much money as someone else, or you don't have your dream job just yet, it's more about finding the small things and just feeling grateful for those. As always, if you did enjoy this video, please give it a big thumbs up and do subscribe to me if you want to see more videos. If you did like this kind of way of filming and way of editing, then just let me know and I will do more like this. But until next time, take care.